after a lull, there has been a terror attack that has now been reported against targeted terror attack, if we call it, against the non-local workers in Jammu and Kashmir. This happened in Kulgam last evening and has now claimed the lives of two non-local laborers, both of them hailing from Chhattisgarh, identified as Deepak and Bhupinder. As one of them was killed on the spot, the other was receiving the treatment and had seriously been injured. But this morning, the unfortunate news coming in that the second non-local migrant laborer has also now been killed. He succumbed to injuries. Now, the terror outfit TRF, which is the proxy of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, has claimed responsibility for this attack, while condemnation that has been pouring in. Let's connect with Sahil Sohail for more on this. But this information is coming at a time when it comes to the search and the cordon operations, which has now entered its second day. And the LG has also condemned the Kulgam terror attack and has ordered for intensified anti-terror operations. In the last 10 days, second such terror attack that has now been reported after a lull. Meanwhile, the Lieutenant Governor, who spoke with the DGP and the top security officials, directing the security team to step up the operations and to eliminate the terrorists. The terrorists, their days are now numbered, and Jammu and Kashmir and security forces, which have now cordoned off the area, launched an operation to bring the perpetrators to justice. Let's get to this report.
Two migrant workers have been killed in South Kashmir's Kulgam district in a terror incident. We are reporting from the same area where this terror incident unfolded yesterday in the evening. It was around 8:30 p.m. when the two migrant workers basically were targeted from a very close range by the terrorists in Kelam area of South Kashmir's Kulgam district. And this is the main, in fact, area. It's the Kelam village, and from just few meters away, there's a brick kiln where these both migrant workers were working. Now, after this terror incident, what we witness on ground zero is that Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and other security agencies have cordoned off the area. Whole area is under, in fact, under a tight cordon. A search operation is taking place inside the area, and security agencies are basically probing from multiple angles. CCTV footage is being collected and that's being analyzed. The primary in fact focus for the security agencies at this point in time is to identify the attacker and track him as soon as possible. We had seen a similar terror incident on 22nd of July in South Kashmir's Anantnag district, where one police constable was targeted in a hit and run terror incident, and following that there was mass in fact anti-terror operation that was initiated across Kashmir in fact division. 2500 OGWs and in fact suspects were detained. They were questioned, and then in fact in South Kashmir's Kulgam district, in fact from this particular area, arms and ammunitions were also recovered by Kulgam police just few days back, and then this terror incident took place. So late last evening this terror incident took place in South Kashmir's Kulgam district. Two migrant workers from Chhattisgarh, in fact one died on spot, while as another one being identified as Deepak was critically injured. He was shifted to Government Medical College Anantnag, and from there he was shifted for advanced treatment to Sikkim Sora, where he succumbed to his injuries today in the morning. So taking the toll in this terror incident to two. As of now, security agencies are working on investigation. At the same time, they're also basically carrying out massive search operation in this particular area in South Kashmir's Kulgam district. But because the spot where this terror incident had occurred is just in fact 2 to 3 kilometers away from the Srinagar-Jammu National Highway, which is also the official route for the Shri Amarnath Ji Yatra. So security agencies are on high alert across South Kashmir, and in fact security agencies leaving no stone unturned to ensure that the attackers are identified and tracked as early as possible.
आज निहत्थे निर्दोष मजदूरों को निशाना बनाया इन कायर और बुज़दिल पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादियों ने इस
Well, Kuldeep Khodaji is connected with us. Sir, how do you view this terror attack being reported? Two of the migrant laborers, this seems to be a targeted terror attack in Kulgam, and they have unfortunately been killed.
Absolutely, this was a targeted attack, and the identities of the victims were first ascertained by the terrorists. And after ascertaining the identity, they were shot at. One died on spot and another one died later on. So the intentions of Pakistan are very clear, and it also very clearly depicts that their efforts in Kashmir, their proxies, are working in tandem with them. And this is, as per the reports, Lashkar has already claimed the responsibility, which is totally Pakistan-based organization, terrorist organization. After Operation Sindoor, the Pakistan establishment had come under pressure, but they have again shown their intentions very clearly. Along with it is the other disturbing factor is that their radicalization is a lot of emphasis is being laid on increasing the radicalization among the youth. So that has to be very well curbed. That has to be addressed very strongly right from the beginning before it spreads.
Right, sir. Absolutely, because it could be a level of distraction of what we are now looking at as far as in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as well. In the last 4 days, 40 people have been killed by the Pakistani forces. Thank you, Kuldeep ji, for joining us here on the broadcast. Let's get a live update from Sahil Sohail as well. Sahil, anti-terror operations now enter day 2.
Yes, exactly, and whole of this area is under cordon. Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and other sister security agencies are participating and in fact coordinating for this search operation that's taking place in Kulgam village, particularly around the spot where this terror incident unfolded yesterday in the evening. You can see the area basically has been in fact sealed. Media is restricted. Media is not allowed to proceed towards the spot from here because it's under cordon, and as a matter of SOP, the security forces, the joint team of Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and other agencies are conducting a house-to-house search operation in the area, in the vicinity, around the brick kiln where this terror incident unfolded yesterday. The fresh update that we had already shared is that the second migrant worker was identified as Bhupender, has also succumbed to his injuries at Sikkim Sora. This takes the total number of casualties in this terror incident to 2, and this is second such incident in South Kashmir. We had already seen on 22nd of July in South Kashmir's Anantnag district there was a hit-and-run terror incident wherein one Jammu and Kashmir police personnel was killed. He died on spot, and in this case one migrant worker died on spot while the second had suffered critical injuries. So whole of this area is under cordon and a search operation is taking place. Investigations is parallelly underway. Security forces are also looking for the CCTV footage if there are any cameras, because in previous years we had seen when these targeted killing had taken place, Jammu and Kashmir Police had advised and directed all brick kiln owners and other, in fact, shopkeepers as well to install CCTV cameras around their businesses. So police will be looking for that CCTV footage, because primarily at this point in time the focus remains first to identify the attackers, second to track them. And there were multiple anti-terror operations already underway in South Kashmir's Kulgam district, under which we had seen just a few days back Kulgam police recovering large quantity of arms and ammunition. The minute details of that operation were not immediately shared because security agencies were tracking a trail and in fact expecting to track down these attackers. So it's not like that the terrorists are coming and hitting their targets. It's equally important to point out that security forces are also working day and night to track these terrorists.
Of course, because they have been directed also by the LG as far as stepping up the anti-terror operations, and their days are now numbered. The terrorists who were behind this cowardly attack. Please to stay on with us, Sahil, because we are getting the MEA information and on the situation that has been unfolding in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It's been over a month, but in the last few days itself, it's getting worse. It's gotten worse, and we are looking at the aggressive stand that has now been taken up by the Pakistani security forces. Meanwhile, responding to the ongoing unrest in the region, the Ministry of External Affairs has accused the Pakistani establishment of using excessive force against peaceful civilians, claiming that the crackdown has left over 40 people dead in the last 4 days and many other injured. So the Ministry of External Affairs, citing remarks by a senior Pakistani leader to allege that terrorist groups once again nurtured by Islamabad are now turning against the Pakistan state. And this is now coming back to haunt them. I mean, this is the result of what they have now sowed. as far as when it comes to terrorists are concerned and giving them the shield, and this now seems to be going against when it comes to the very Pakistan establishment.
You and all of us sitting here have witnessed the Pakistani establishment continues to unleash ruthless force against peaceful civilians in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. This crackdown has resulted in the tragic death of over 40 innocent people, and over many more have been seriously injured. It's the establishment's absolute disdain for the innocent people of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir was laid bare when their defense minister branded the protesting civilians as enemies. You would have seen those comments. Adding to this, and what Akansha, the question that you raised, the special assistant of the Prime Minister on political affairs openly admitted that the very Mujahideen that Pakistani establishment trained, funded, armed and sent to India have now turned their guns inward, weaponizing themselves against the state.
Well, let's connect with Akansha on this. Akansha, what's happening in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? A very strong statement that has now been issued by the Ministry of External Affairs.
Absolutely, Abita. And what's even more disdainful is the claim that has been made by the Pak advisor to the Prime Minister, that is Rana Sanaullah, who just a couple of days ago on Pakistan television openly made this admission that the very Mujahideens that were trained by the Pak authorities have now become a burden on them. They are hanging around their neck, and that Pak establishment was the one to train them, arm them, and sent to bleed India, have now turned their guns inward. They are weaponizing themselves against the state, as you heard what Shri Ranveer Jaiswal rightly mentioned. And this is not the first time that Rana Sanaullah has made such a claim. In the past as well, we've seen how Khwaja Asif, the current defense minister in Pakistan, has also gone on to make this open admission that Pakistan has done the West's dirty job for several years. So these admissions have been happening by members of the authorities in Pakistan themselves, and yet there has, what's even more shocking, Amita, is the silence of the international community, and that is why in that reaction that you heard coming in from the Ministry of External Affairs, Honorable Spokesperson urged the international community to scrutinize Pakistan's actions and hold it accountable for the atrocities. What's happening in POJK has crossed more than a month. More than 40 civilians have already lost their lives. Why? They are only protesting and asking for their basic rights, which are being denied to them. And so it should be taken note of that this crackdown has resulted in the tragic deaths of these innocent civilians. More importantly, the use of this kind of force, the communication blackout, the lack of access to food, medical assistance, medical aid, it's all amounting to a violation of human rights. And
Yes.
This is something that's already been condemned by the UNHRC, Amnesty International, United States, but India has been fronting the call for greater scrutiny when it comes to what's happening in POJK. India has also labeled the ongoing election exercise as a cosmetic exercise. MEA has already said that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will remain an inalienable part to India, and so this entire electoral exercise is a mere sham.
Absolutely, because you know what's been happening in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We are now looking at extreme pressure, tremendous pressure that seems to be building on the Shehbaz Sharif government and Asim Munir's army. Thank you very much, Akansha, for that update. Let's speak in detail of what all has been happening. It's been over a month ever since this protest, the long march, and the situation that has been unfolding in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which has now been on the edge for over 4 weeks now. But in the last 4 to 5 days, we are looking at this retaliation that has now been carried out by the Pakistani forces against unarmed civilians that has claimed the lives of over 40 people in the last 4 days. Fresh clashes, Sahil, once again being reported in Muzaffarabad as the protest against the Pakistani administration continues to intensify.
Well, Pakistan is certainly under global scanner for the ruthless, impactful use of excessive force against civilian protesters in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir from last 2 months. It all started from June 5 when the Joint Awami Action Committee announced Muzaffarabad march. In fact, we've seen how the Pakistani forces resorted to direct firing on civilian protesters in Rawalpur, particularly in Poonch division, and number of civilians were killed. So in last 2 months, the overall number has gone up to, in fact, above 100, and there are a lot of human rights violations that the forces have committed. Apart from killing civilians in direct firing, in using tear smoke shells, and in fact other excessive measures, Pakistani forces have around, in fact, arrested 600 in fact individuals, in fact placing them under Schedule 4 of the Anti-Terrorism Act, and in fact declaring the Joint Awami Action, which basically enjoys the overall support of Kashmiris living in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir as a
and
terror
they have
outfit.
been seeking for basic amenities, for food, for water, for electricity, and more than 40 people have been killed in the last 4 days, including a 7-year-old girl. Protesters who have blocked key highways while Pakistani security forces have been demonstrators. Thank you very much for the moment, Sahil Suhail, for joining us here on the broadcast. Let's get you this understanding when it comes to JAC's court